He's busted up. You know, I'm not a doctor, but his eye looked like he probably has broken orbital.
What is next for Ilia Topuria? Now, Ilia Topuria's got to heal. He's got to heal. And there's nothing Ilia Topuria can do because I feel he's set in his ways of how he goes about his fights, and how he goes about his fights aren't bad. I think he will always have a hard time with somebody who's able to withstand the shots that Ilia Topuria can land.
Let's dive straight into it, because Dana White has finally stepped forward to address what really happened between Ilia Topuria inside that octagon. And he didn't stop there. He also opened up about what could be next for the new lightweight champion, Justin Gaethje, giving fans their clearest picture yet of the division's future.
He's in the hospital. He's busted up. You know, I'm not a doctor, but his eye looked like he probably has broken orbital. I don't know that's not a fact, but I'm just assuming. And my plans for him are to go home and rest and recover and take his time. And you know, tonight was a rough night for him. I just want to make sure he's healthy and good, and not even thinking about him fighting again. Just want him to go home and relax and rest.
From there, the discussion shifts naturally into what lies ahead, especially the topic of retirement. Is this possibly the final chapter for fighters like Justin Gaethje or Michael Chandler? Dana White doesn't soften his stance on it. He makes it clear that it's an extremely difficult situation to judge. It's the type of decision no promoter can ever truly make on behalf of a fighter. In the end, he emphasizes that this call rests entirely with the athletes themselves, and no one else can decide it for them.
Fight of the night, Ilia Gaethje. The performance of the night, Gaethje and gone. So Gaethje wins like $825,000 for bonus.
Then MMA Guru steps in, and he doesn't waste any time outlining exactly how he sees things playing out next. According to his idea, the perfect matchup would be Justin Gaethje making his first title defense against Arman Tsarukyan, with the undisputed UFC lightweight belt on the line. It's a confident and aggressive prediction, but when you break down where both fighters currently stand in the division, you can understand why he's pushing for that fight to be made.
Gave him all the respect in terms of like his skill set in there. You know, said probably the second best guy he prepared for outside of Khabib. But now that you're through Ilia, was he as good as you thought he was? Was he better than you thought he was? Just can you talk about what you experienced in there with him?
I mean, he's very good. I mean, my liver still hurts right now. Those body shots were crazy. I mean, he's really, really fast. But you know, when he didn't get the finish at the end of the second round, I think it really took his spirit. And, you know, again, I said it in the press conference leading up, I was like, he really backed himself into a corner saying he's going to be so dominant. And I said it, when we go to the second round, you're going to be like, what the fuck? When we go to the third round, you're going to be like, what the fuck? You know, that's what I did.
In the aftermath of that shocking upset involving Justin Gaethje, talk quickly turns to the most natural storyline, an immediate rematch. Teddy Atlas views it as the most logical direction, the kind of fight that writes itself on paper. However, he also adds an important warning. In his opinion, Ilia Topuria will likely need plenty of time to recover, not just physically but mentally as well, before he can realistically return to that level of competition again.
It's really hard to put it into words right now. I mean, just trying to enjoy this moment. And yeah, it was such a crazy ride. We had a lot of delays. A couple of the rehearsal delayed, tonight delayed. But yeah, it just, you know, these are again, I wouldn't recommend this to my enemy. We are some of the toughest people on this earth, mentally, physically. All these guys up here and all the guys that lost tonight. We, and me specifically, I've said it from day one, I'm a promoter's wet dream. And I proved that tonight.
Looking more closely at the fight, it becomes clear just how close it was to being stopped much earlier than it actually was. The ringside doctor was reportedly ready to halt the contest after Ilia Topuria complained about issues with his vision. For a moment, it looked like the fight could be waved off on the spot. However, after his corner stepped in and intervened, the bout was allowed to continue. That one call has since raised plenty of debate, with many questioning whether letting the fight go on was the correct decision in the end.
When I fight was Justin Gaethje, last fight, it was like when I go to the cage, you know, this guy, he hit like truck, you know, like nobody hit harder than Justin Gaethje. His kick, his punch, his left hook, right uppercut, you know, it's like, but I make him hit me, you know.
You had
like when I go to the cage and I was like, okay, I'm gonna bring him to the deep ocean. Deep ocean is like I'm gonna make him tired on stand up, and I'm gonna bring him on ground and finish him there. You know, first of all, what I have to do, because he have very good wrestling base. He is very good wrestlers, and like beginning of fight, I knew like this guy don't let me wrestling, and I go through on his punch, kicks, and you know, it's like everything what happened with father. Like I was think like nothing to lose.
Here's where the story takes a surprising turn. At first, it seemed like Ilia Topuria's corner was urging the referee to give him one more round, trying to keep the fight going. But Chael Sonnen presents a very different interpretation of that moment, based on conversations he says he had with people familiar with the situation. According to Sonnen, Topuria's brother wasn't actually asking for the fight to continue. Instead, he was signaling to the referee that they were ready to stop it, that they had already accepted the end. He points out that the body language in that moment wasn't frantic or emotional, but calm and composed. In his view, that calmness wasn't resistance to a stoppage, but rather the quiet confirmation of a corner that had already made the decision to call it off.
When you look at the rankings, there's one name, and we all know whose name that is. It's Arman Tsarukyan. He is the guy that should get the shot. I think Justin Gaethje deserves right now to go and do whatever he wants to do, take as much time off as he likes, within reason. But Arman Tsarukyan needs to be the first defense. The man has been beating everybody. I mean, he's phenomenal. I mean, some of the performances that he's had, the finishes that he's had, and just the run that he's on, and the popularity that he has gained. You know, I mean, look at beating Charles Oliveira. I mean, destroying Dan Hooker last time out, and look at that against Beneil Dariush. It was mere seconds, like 16 seconds or something crazy like that. Arman Tsarukyan without a shadow of a...
Corey Sandhagen then adds a technical detail that many viewers completely overlooked. He highlights how Justin Gaethje effectively used knee taps and the constant threat of takedowns to disrupt Ilia Topuria's timing and reactions. By forcing Topuria to account for a grappling layer he didn't seem fully ready for, Gaethje was able to create openings that normally wouldn't be there. According to Sandhagen, those brief moments in the clinch and transitional positions became the key factor that ultimately shifted the fight, and they're what made the real difference in how it played out.
Topuria is 29 years old. He's made a ton of fucking money, and I mean, every great athlete loses. GSP lost. I've lost. I've gotten knocked out. Only person who hasn't lost, actually, he has lost. He lost to Hamill. John Jones has also lost. All the greats have lost, ladies and gentlemen. We've all lost, and that doesn't say that Ilia Topuria can't come back and be even.
Building on that breakdown, Corey Sandhagen also makes sure to acknowledge just how dangerous Ilia Topuria is when he's working inside the pocket. He points out a small but important detail: Topuria's disciplined head positioning during exchanges. That kind of structure makes it extremely difficult for opponents to land clean shots, even when they're applying constant pressure. But Sandhagen takes the analysis a step further. He explains that there's a hidden risk for the shorter fighter in a matchup like this. What usually serves as a smart defensive habit can quickly turn into a liability. Against the right opponent, that instinct to stay defensively responsible can become a dangerous trade-off once you're standing directly in front of them.
You have Ilia Topuria versus Arman Tsarukyan. That'll be a sick fight too. He's gonna have to deal with Arman Tsarukyan's athleticism, his wrestling, just his will to move around and just be dynamic as an athlete. You know, can Arman withstand Ilia Topuria's power if he get him out? Now, next time Ilia Topuria fights, if it isn't a title fight, it's gonna be 3 rounds. So Ilia Topuria has less rounds to work with. If it's a title fight, so he's got 5 rounds, it changes the strategy a little bit. You guys don't realize that. When you're doing a 3-round fight versus a 5-round fight, things...
There's also a technical explanation of how the fight unraveled, and it ties back to a pattern that has troubled Ilia Topuria in the past. Repeatedly, he finds himself hanging right at the very edge of his opponent's range. When strikes come back at him, he often reacts by leaning straight backward instead of moving offline. From the very first exchanges, Topuria walked directly into Justin Gaethje's space, where that awkward, unorthodox jab started landing early and continued to find its target. The uncomfortable reality is that Topuria may have underestimated the danger standing across from him. As the rounds went on, that lapse in respect for the threat in front of him ended up costing him significantly.
Before you come to welterweight, you can't beat Justin. You need to spend 2-3 years in the hospital to fix your face, brother. Brother, why you do this? This bullshit guy, you look like strawberry. Don't compare legacy for mine to Ilia, this bullshit guy. I'm just joking, I'm not saying it, but bullshit guy. You talk about legacy, double champion. Brother, yes, lightweight and welterweight, brother. You can't come and ask for a fight. You can't even beat bullshit guy Justin Gaethje. Why this guy beat you, brother? Brother, this guy is Justin Gaethje for Bibi Netanyahu. Brother, you can't beat Justin. You want to fight the double champ? Come on, brother. Spend 2-3 years in Dr. Miami. Fix your face, brother. I don't want to hurt.
Building on all of that, Demetrious Johnson highlights a strategic choice from Justin Gaethje's corner that, in his view, ended up influencing the entire fight. From the opening bell, the plan was straightforward but unforgiving. Absorb the early damage and trust Gaethje's well-known durability to carry him into the later rounds. Topuria did have clear moments of success early on, landing dangerous shots and putting Gaethje under real pressure. However, Johnson points out that once Gaethje survived that initial surge and began to settle into the fight, the momentum slowly started to shift. From that point forward, the overall dynamic changed in a way very few people had anticipated heading in.
В доме многие тебя тоже ждали на этом турнире, но вот Хабиб на нашем подкасте сказал, что он не хотел бы, чтобы ты там дрался. Сейчас ты понимаешь, почему он это сказал?
Плюс-минус понимаю, но у нас были разговоры. Я уже, как говорил, там в Твиттере я выкладывал. Иногда, если я молчу, все думают, что соперник, если разговаривает, то он правду говорит. Мне утром позвонили, предложили бой, я согласился. Ничего не прося, мне сами предложили бой с плюсом в гонораре. Потом на следующее утром перезвонили, сказали, что Топурия захотел где-то 20, что ли, миллионов. Ему отказали. Все, бой сорвался. И через пару часов его менеджер дал интервью, сказал, что нас не устроила сумма, чтобы подраться с Исламом. Но за те же деньги по контракту они согласились.
Wrapping up his analysis, Demetrious Johnson reflects on what the result says about how unpredictable MMA really is, where MMA math rarely tells the full story. Topuria had previously dominated some of the division's most dangerous contenders, looking nearly unstoppable at times. Yet on this night, Gaethje's pressure-heavy style and exceptional toughness proved to be the perfect counter to that momentum, something few could have realistically foreseen. Johnson ends on a respectful note, praising the technical level both fighters brought into the cage. He gives full credit to Gaethje for a standout performance and acknowledges it as one of the most impressive victories of his career, while also recognizing the skill and danger Topuria showed despite the outcome.
Что-то уже, когда ты молчишь, а они болтают, и люди начинают им верить просто в интернете, я думаю. Травма, они уже обо мне переживают. Прими там бой, я приму, но нет уже контракта. Как я приму? Что я приму вообще? У меня нет никаких...
Islam's coming back from an injury, a hand injury. As soon as he's ready, we'll figure out what's next for him.
У меня есть старая травма руки, но это после завершения моей карьеры я ее буду оперировать. Но сейчас это не причина, что бои какие-то срывались. На делах мы видели, что было сейчас. Кто-то скажет, это неправда, но я могу показать переписки с моим менеджером, мы с ним созванивались, переписывались. Я уже говорил тоже, мне он позвонил. В Белом доме бой против Топурии. Я говорю, все, давай сразу. И дали мне, я даже не просил, они говорят, Али, гонорар поднимается, то, что в Белом доме. Я говорю...
Beyond the technical breakdown, Teddy Atlas shifts the conversation to something deeper, experience and the value of real adversity. Topuria has always presented himself as a true fighter, no doubt about his warrior mentality. But until this night, he hadn't really been tested in a situation where everything was going wrong and the pressure was overwhelming. The kind of high-stakes moment where escape routes disappear. Justin Gaethje, meanwhile, has been shaped through years of brutal fights, wars inside the cage, and setbacks throughout his career. Atlas argues that those experiences gave him something crucial: the ability to stay composed and find his way through chaos when it matters most.
Звонит и говорит, нет, говорит, отменяется. Я говорю, почему? Чувствовал, что не так. Он говорит, просто он попросил какие-то баснословные гонорары, и все. Менеджер дал интервью и сказал, что нам предложили мало денег. За этот бой, и мы отказались. Это же его менеджеру слава. Илья, может, что хочет говорить, но его же менеджер договаривался об этом все. Ну, часто стараюсь не отвечать в перепалки в интернете, не вступать, но когда уже еле снесут, когда уже ты уже молчишь, и люди начинают верить, что это правда, что он говорит, что я снялся из-за травмы руки. Никакой вообще речи о руке не было, я сразу же согласился без никаких там запросов на гонорар или что.
MMA Guru then zooms out to the bigger picture, laying out a scenario built on a couple of conditions. If both Paddy Pimblett and Max Holloway manage to win their upcoming fights, he sees an opportunity for the lightweight division to reach a whole new financial level. In his vision, the key attraction would be matching Ilia Topuria against Paddy Pimblett in a huge co-main event, a fight big enough to anchor a pay-per-view on its own, even without a stacked title fight at the top of the card. He does acknowledge that this is still a long-term idea, and that predicting the exact landscape of champions and contenders down the line is nearly impossible. Still, he believes the possibility of a matchup like that is genuinely exciting and something worth keeping in mind as the division continues to evolve.
Gaethje just defeated Ilia Topuria by round 4 TKO to corner stoppage at UFC Freedom 250 on the White House lawn and is now the undisputed lightweight world champion at 37 years old. I can't believe I'm saying these things. I thought Strickland's upset against Chimaev was gonna be enough this year for the MMA gods to start making logic true once again in this sport, but no. Justin Gaethje puts a whooping on Ilia Topuria. Fair enough, survives a nightmarish round 2, but I had Justin Gaethje winning this fight 3 rounds to...
Building on that same line of thought, MMA Guru argues that a fight between Topuria and Pimblett needs to happen while the opportunity is still alive. He points out that the chance to stage it at a major White House event has already passed, and once Pimblett suffered a loss, the matchup seemed to drift further away from reality. What's interesting, he adds, is how his own view of the fight has shifted over time. Where he once saw Pimblett versus Topuria as a very difficult assignment for Paddy, mainly because of Topuria's raw power, he now considers it much more competitive, even close to a 50-50 matchup. With Pimblett's growing momentum and improved standing in the division, Guru believes there's now genuine belief that he could actually win it. In his words, it feels like a special opportunity that may have already slipped away.
It wasn't even like Ilia Topuria was clearly ahead the whole fight and Justin Gaethje just broke him in round 4 and then Ilia Topuria quits on the stall. I had Gaethje up 3 rounds to 1. I thought he won the first round very clear. It was competitive. Ilia was landing big shots. What am I saying? What am I saying? The whole card was insane. But to finish like this, I can't wait to break down the rest of the card, but this fight, Ilia comes out, he's wandering into jabs like he's never boxed a day in his life. Generational aura loss for Ilia Topuria.
Then Ariel Helwani steps in to discuss Ilia Topuria's immediate future, offering a more long-term perspective on what that recent loss could actually mean for his development. He frames the defeat not just as a setback, but as something that could ultimately benefit Topuria's evolution as a fighter. Helwani compares it to a classic Nate Diaz-style moment, one of those humbling experiences that, in hindsight, often helps shape a more complete and dangerous version of a fighter. From that angle, the loss becomes less about decline and more about growth. He also brings up a few possible names for Topuria's next opponent, with Arman Tsarukyan standing out as the most logical and compelling option to begin his climb back toward the top of the division.
Watching fights since I'm 12, but MMA since I'm 12 years old. Wow, this ranks is one of the greatest fights ever because on the skill set was just high. It wasn't that they were mean and vicious and violent. The skill level was also very high. What Gaethje was doing, the fakes, the movement, the constant changing of pace, of direction. I gotta say that Gaethje just really impressed me. You know, I was one of these big advocates that he's gonna get smoked, he's gonna get beat up, and he went in there and did some special stuff. So props to Gaethje. Can't believe that. It has to be. It's a bigger win than Sean beating Chimaev, I think, by a lot.
Following the defeat, Ilia Topuria addressed it publicly on social media, and his message came across as both composed and respectful. He accepted the loss outright, offering no excuses or attempts to shift blame, while also making it clear that this moment doesn't define his career. There was a calm confidence running through his statement, almost understated but firm. Topuria emphasized that this is far from the end of his journey, promising to return stronger, take lessons from everything that happened inside the cage, and prove once again why he remains one of the elite fighters in the division.
I didn't see this happening. I thought there was a chance something like this could happen, but not the way that the fight played out from the start. Gaethje was able to dictate the pace because the first round he won, and the first round is where he actually hurt his right eye. He managed to land a real good left hook, good jab, some fakes that led into uppercuts. He faked the takedown, came with the uppercut. Like, Gaethje looked fast, sharp. He used his length. I think Ilia, early on, he just walked straight forward. Ilia walked him down, didn't do no feints, just straight walked at him. And he ate a lot of jabs right in the beginning. If people watch that first round, that first minute, you're gonna see a lot of mistakes that Ilia just made. He just like walked right through him. I don't think he respected him too much, you know, he just came right.
Looking a bit further ahead, MMA Guru also brings up the possibility of a major clash between Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett. He suggests that a matchup like that could bring huge crossover attention and generate serious fan interest across the board. However, he makes it clear that the entire idea depends on one major factor. Pimblett needs to win his next fight. Even beyond that, he has to maintain that momentum and continue building his rise in the division for the fight to realistically make sense down the line. Not every proposed matchup lines up perfectly, and that's simply the reality of a lightweight division that's constantly shifting. With the landscape changing so quickly, the real question becomes obvious. What comes next for Ilia Topuria and Justin Gaethje? For Topuria, the most likely route is a quick return against top-tier contenders. Names like Arman Tsarukyan and Paddy Pimblett immediately come into the conversation, both of them positioning themselves for a shot at the biggest opportunities the division can offer. As for Gaethje, he continues to stand out as one of the most dangerous fighters in the UFC. A matchup with Tsarukyan, in particular, would carry massive stakes and could directly shape the title picture and the next challenger in line. But regardless of who he ends up facing next, one thing is already clear.